So here's a demonstration of what I like to call a flow exercise, a guitar flow exercise. And what is flow? Flow is when you immerse yourself in whatever you do, in your activity, in playing guitar, and you just forget about everything and just be one with the guitar, one with the music, one with whatever you create and play. And I call it the ultimate exercise because it's not just playing guitar. There are so many levels. When you have that kind of exercise, you work on many, many levels, many layers at the same time. For example, if you just, let's say you want to work on your techniques, you maybe want to do, this kind of spiral exercise or variations on that, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not the same as actually playing music, right? What I played at the beginning, hopefully it sounds like real music and not just an exercise. And this is the main thing. And this exercise work on many things. So for example, it works on creativity, improvisation, composition. You're basically creating in the moment. It works on, especially if you play calmly, it can bring peace. So it works on your enjoyment, right? You spend quality time with the guitar and you're creating something together, and it's not random. It's the structure now that I will explain. You work on the technique, for example, the right hand technique, the picking hand technique, and the coordination of both hands. This specific exercise that I played works on that in interesting way. Again, I'll explain everything. It also works on your fretboard knowledge and theory and applying theory, and these are just kind of a few things that hopefully you will get from this session. And I think we can break it down into 3 steps. Okay, so if you have the guitar, do it with me. If you're watching it later, also pause the video and do it with me. Because what I'm going to share is, again, something that everyone can do, even beginners, hopefully. Very basic stuff that I think sounds great. So I know you can do it. Let's start with the picking hand. What I want to share is a simple fingerstyle pattern. Okay, so if you don't know fingerstyle, the basic principle is that the thumb is in charge of the first 3 strings, meaning the low E, A, and D, and the other fingers each in charge of a different fret, like the index is in charge of the G string, the middle finger is in charge of the B string, and the ring finger is in charge of the high E string. So the simple pattern is just to play 4 open strings. So we're going to start with open D, and then open G, B, and E. So the top 4. The idea is to make it consistent. So if you're playing 4, then there's a gap. Try to make it a constant flow. Okay, and this is the theme here. You want to have flow. It can be very, very slow. It's up to you. If you play it slowly, you get more of the benefits of feeling calm and peace. And even gently and lightly play the strings. So the idea is to have a flow in terms of making the picking hand like an engine, a soft engine in this case, that just runs and runs like a wheel spinning again and again, until a point where you don't have to think about it anymore. Meaning once you kind of think about something else while playing that, or even speak, do something else at the same time as playing. Okay, that's the goal. So you want to reach this kind of level. And hopefully that's quite easy. Now, the cool thing about the guitar is that you actually have two chords that you can play without the fretting hand, just by playing open strings. The first chord that you can play is an E minor chord, just by playing these three strings, the E, G, and B. Right? These strings have the three notes of E minor. And the second chord you can play is a type of G major chord using the open D, G, and B strings. So try to go from one to the other 4 times per chord, like 4 times E minor, 4 times G major. So I was playing the chord and adding an high E. I didn't mention that. Okay, so the chord are 3 notes, and then with the pattern that we started with, 4 notes in total. Okay, so 4 times 4. And so on. So the idea is to just repeat it again and again. You can do it just twice or 4 times or even once, doesn't matter. As long as you're letting your picking hand do the job for you in terms of this area, producing the notes. And what we should do, and this is what I played at the beginning, is use the high E string to play a simple scale. The most common one, the G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic, depends on how you look at it. And with the 2 chords that I played, E minor and G major, it could be either. So the simple scale, I'll actually show you this diagram. This is what we need. This is all the things we need for this session. So you have an high E, and then G, 3rd fret, and then A, 5th fret, and then B, 7th fret, and then D, 10th fret, and then E, 12th fret, and then go back. Okay, so this is the scale. If you need to practice it up and down a few times, and then what we want to do is randomize, play the notes of that scale randomly. So that could be the next step. So something like this: open, 3rd, let's say 7, 12, 10, 5, and so on. Just randomly play the notes. This is the framework. Okay, so back to this diagram. You have the blue open strings to play the chords, and you have the kind of yellow gold notes on the high string to play the melody. So this is the combination of chords and melody in this simple way. So we talked about coordination. This is exactly where it comes into place, where the right hand is independent, and I should say picking hand is independent, fretting hand is also independent. Now, how should we do that? Like anything on the guitar or in life, start slowly. So what you want to do is, let's take E minor, and you want to just play some notes, right? Hold, let's say, the G, 3rd fret. This is for E minor, and the next one is for G. And then you can do the same with the other notes. Again, this is where you can randomly move your finger. I did 2 rounds per chord. Let's do 4 and maybe slightly faster. Now, what I've done, and this might happen to you naturally, you're going to slide. And this is a really cool thing that you can have lots of fun with. Basically, this is it, right? I gave you all the tools you need. The engine, the picking hand pattern, the scale, up and down randomly. And what I'm going to show with you now is like the next step in terms of adding more interesting stuff like sliding. So what you want to do is kind of think. So think about like when you play the high E, you can straight slide to another note. Let's say from 5 to 7, I'm playing E minor. And then back. So it's a very quick slide, which doesn't interfere with the repeated pattern with no gaps. You could do it slowly, and this is interesting. So basically you can move to the next note at the same time as plucking with the thumb. Easier to actually play than say it. So okay, again I was playing E minor, playing that A note, and then waiting until I'm going to play the E again, open E, and move. Sorry. Okay. Thinking about it is more tricky. It's better if it just comes naturally from the fingers. Okay, so there are 2 types of slides that I shared. One is a quick one that you can just do. It doesn't take a lot of time. And the other one is kind of overlapping with the next round where you start with the thumb. Now, okay, so this is like the foundations, and from here you can actually go to adding more notes, playing with more scales, moving from the high E to the B string. Let me just give you kind of an idea. Go on and get lost. And this is exactly what this is about, to enjoy your playing. Again, it will sound great because what I gave you is a framework, a template, if you want, of something that will sound great, because you kind of be inside the the notes that interact well with each other. And in addition, you can add more stuff, right? You can jump from one place to another, and it's just 2 chords. And maybe just one more thing, because it can be very intense, and what you can do is also draw back by stripping down. For example, instead of just playing the whole chord, you can just play the bass note, right? The E for the E minor, the D for the G chord. And then you get something like... Right, it's kind of more stripped down, and this is how you can build up. Like you can start from a very kind of simple stuff and then add more strings and then add more rhythm. And there's another thing that you showed at the beginning, which is harmonics, right? You can use that. Right, you add some kind of extra magic to it. So this is basically it. And I'd love to hear what you come up with. If you can take the same principles of, again, simple picking pattern, one scale like the G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic, combine the 2 together with slides or without, and I'd love to hear your take on it, because we all think differently, and I think it's really, really great to see how you approach it. And then I can give you feedback on whatever you do. If I see some kind of a technical thing I can help with, or I can give you some kind of creative suggestion where you can take it next, and so on. So there should be a comment with my email, which is udi@udiguitar.com. I think, not sure if you can see that. Okay, I was trying to add my email, but comment if you're not sure where it is. And the second offer I have for you is, if you want to go deeper into what I shared today and to understand how you can apply it and use this and other exercises, other flow exercises I created, where you, again, work on so many things like fretboard mastery, to know where all the notes are, train your ear, apply theory, many other benefits from just one exercise. This is why it's important to actually work on ultimate exercise, where you cover all the things you need to work on and have fun at the same time. Like, what can you ask for more? So if you want to explore that option, then you can also send me an email, and I can send you a link to book a chat with me, and we can talk about your current situation, what are your aspirations, what you feel you need, are there any gaps you need to fill, and then we can talk. So again, hopefully that was valuable. Let me know in the comments, and I'll keep on playing now and feel inspired. So hopefully you feel inspired too, and send me yours and create yours. See you next week.